Now let's talk about changing your raises against better players. Since your opponents will call a raise of 2.5 times the blind more often than they would call a larger raise, you can actually choose what price you want to lay certain opponents based on the amount you raise. I highly discourage you from varying your raise sizes based on your hand strength, but I am all for changing your bet size based on your opponent's level of skill. Let's say you're at a pretty tight, easy table, but there is one other player at the table who is a strong player. Now, if you're going to raise his big blind, he's going to defend it a high percentage of the time and force you to play a pot with him after the flop. Now, why would you want to play a pot against the only other tough player at the table? If you want him out of the hand, you can do that by raising as much as 4 or even 5 times the blind when it's on him. Others at the table may be confused by the bet, but there is no reason to explain why you just happen to be raising more on this particular hand. This will also help you define a tougher opponent's hand, since your larger raise will help you to narrow down your opponent's hand. If you raise a tough player's blind just 2.5 times the blind, it will be extremely difficult for you to gauge the strength of his hand. While that's a legitimate concern against a tough player, you'd gladly make the smaller raise against lesser players because the mistakes they make post-flop should outweigh what you give up by not defining their hand.